Hello everyone, welcome this evening to Arawa's Diary. I'm your lovely host Arawa and I'm glad to have you. Thank you for subscribing to my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching my videos. If you like those videos, please subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to leave your comments and give us a thumbs up. And don't forget to ask questions if you have questions about Arawa's Diary and what we are all about. Basically, we just want to help you to learn how to be better people and to live better lives. Today, we're going to be talking briefly about mental slavery. Mental slavery is a situation where someone or a group of people start believing or start thinking of their self in a capacity that is actually less than their true potential. So it's a situation where you start seeing yourself to be less, or you start engaging yourself with circumstances and beliefs that are actually not true. So it's caused by misinformation, basically, when you or misconception or having a wrong perspective about how things truly are, and it can build up as a result of being fed with wrong information over a long period of time. Now, I have a very brief case to discuss here, and it's the case of a soldier that actually was stuck in the forest for 37 years because he felt the World War II was still ongoing. Now, he was mentally enslaved by his fears that he was one of the few people that survived the World War and that the World War was still ongoing. And because of that fear, he lived in a state of being mentally enslaved to his fears. And for 37 years, he lived in isolation in the forest until he was discovered. And then he got to know that the World War II ended just a few days after he crash landed in the forest, and he was just isolating himself and suffering and living alone for no good cause because he was just living and being isolated by his mind. He was enslaved by his mind, by his thoughts, by his thinking. He was thinking that the war was still on and that he was one of the few people that is surviving the World War. But fortunately, thank God, after 37 years, which is so sad, he was discovered and reunited with his family. Now, for us to be free from mental slavery, we need to really, really understand what it is. Mental slavery is when an elephant, because it has been continuously tied to a tree from its babyhood, when it didn't have enough strength to pull down the tree, actually start thinking I cannot pull down the tree, even when it becomes so big that a little effort would uproot the tree. It still thinks, and it can still be tied to that tree by just a little rope, the rope that cannot even hold the elephant, talk less of the tree. But because that elephant has been exposed to that kind of environment over a long period of time, it starts thinking of itself less than it is. So how do we break free from mental slavery? We need to challenge our thinking. How do I think? How do I see myself? You need to start paying attention to your thoughts. You need to become aware of the effect of certain words, negative words, the things that people say to you. You need to start being aware and to start choosing what you want to accept. You need to learn to recognize when to accept the right things and when to not accept. You need to learn to differentiate between when your ego is stopping you from doing something and when you cannot actually do something. A lot of people have been killed by being told that they can't. You can't sing, or because you don't sound like Celine Dion, because you don't sound like P Square or like the band, or because you don't have this type of voice, or because you can't sing reggae like any beautiful reggae artist or any popular reggae artist. Then they start telling you cannot sing, you cannot do this, or you can't face the crowd because we don't think you have the capacity, you're always shaking, so we believe you can't face the crowd. And then some people will take that and start making it into their reality. The truth is, the Bible says it all. Jesus Christ said, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So today we need to start challenging what we think, what we believe, what we accept as a reality. We need to start giving ourselves fewer options. Sometimes people will say, oh, I have a lot of options, and they end up not doing anything because they believe they have a lot of options. But when you narrow down your options, then you need to start saying, oh, this is what I want to do. These are the ways I can go about it, and then you start doing it. We need to question our motivations and challenge our assumptions. What are your assumptions about life? What are the things that you've assumed you can never do? Some people, they've told them right from childhood that they can never be good. Like Jabez, he was named sorrow. So until he realized that he actually had the potential, he had the ability to pray to God. And then he prayed and God changed his circumstances. Until he prayed, actually, he was still mentally enslaved to thinking that he could not make it. But when he prayed, the Bible says that God, changed the story. God enlarged his borders and things changed for good for Jabez. Now we need to be interested to make the opposing argument. Sometimes you don't need to just take what people say, other people's opinion as, the ultimate. We need to learn to actually, make our own decisions. We need to learn to actually have our own perspective about things. Yes, we will need to respect other people's perspective because sometimes they see from an angle, but they don't see it all. They are not God. So when they have a perspective, yes, recognize that this person is talking from, somebody says you're lazy. You need to look, why is this person saying this? Or maybe there are things that I'm not doing right at this time. And then you need to correct and readjust and start doing those things better. We need to stop to doubt. Sometimes we need to look at our lives and look at what looks like our reality and then realize that we are more than that. We need to start doubting the things that we see. Because the truth is that the things that are seen are temporal, but the things that are not seen are the things that controls the things that are seen. So we need to start doubting some of the things that we see and start believing the things that we know that we have, to start accepting our true potentials. We need to stop judging. We need to stop being judgmental. We need to stop accepting what other people think about us, hook, line, and sinker, and start questioning authority. Some people believe they are authorities. Oh, I'm an English teacher, so I can tell you if you would make it as a public speaker or not. Who says? Probably because of circumstances, you could not do something well, does not mean that when you try at another time and you build capacity and you try it over and over, you will not improve and become better at it. But sometimes some of us, when they tell us we can't, we just accept that we can't, and then we let that I can't limit us to not being able to. So we need to start learning to say I can, yes I can, and to do it over and over again. We need to doubt the reality of authorities. Like I said, we need to start saying, who says, and we need to know who has the final say concerning our life, because the truth is only God has the final say. And God himself has said we can do all things, by his strength, by Christ that strengthens us. We can actually do all things through Christ that strengthens us. So sometimes we need to start questioning the authorities and know who is the right authority in our life. Now, another thing we need to question is our habits of following what other people say or following our fears. This soldier that was stuck for 37 years alone in isolation was because he never questioned his fears. He never stopped to say, what if the war had ended? What if the war had ended? And for 37 years, he was in isolation because he felt the war had not ended. He felt the world had crumbled. And because of that, he lived in isolation for a long period of his life. So we need to start questioning our fears, because sometimes our fears are the only limitation, they are the only barrier between us and our next level, between us and our success. So we need to start questioning our fears. We need to start facing our fears and taking the risk anyways. Because the truth is that sometimes when we fail, it's actually a learning process. Sometimes we need to borrow from other people's failures. We need to borrow the ideas of others to identify and understand our own unique situations and to be able to forge ahead. So you need to borrow the idea of someone that said something about you just for a few seconds. Don't buy it. When you buy it, it becomes yours. But when you borrow it for a few seconds, you use it, and then you evaluate your situation, you adjust what needs to be adjusted, and you discard it. So we need to learn to borrow and not to buy people's ideas and opinions about us. We need to always ask, what do I want? What do I think about it? Don't just accept what other people are saying. And we need to ask ourselves, why do I think this about that? What do I think about it? About X, Y, Z, and why? So we need to start asking ourselves the question of what and the question of why do we think the way we think? Because as we think, so we are. So when we start thinking limitation, then we start being limited. But when we start thinking possibilities, then all things actually start becoming possible. We need to believe that we can and to start living positively. The truth is that until the baby elephants realizes that it has the potential, until that elephant that has grown, until that big elephant realizes that it is no longer the baby that it used to be, that is now big and has the capacity, the strength to uproot the tree. It would never uproot it, despite the fact that energy, the potential energy is there, but it will not materialize. It will not put that energy to motion. That potential will not become kinetic until he realizes that he can actually turn that potential energy to kinetic energy, put the energy in motion, and use it to achieve its aims. We need to believe in ourselves. And then we need to start focusing on our strength and stop celebrating our weakness. So because somebody says you don't have the hourglass body, then you cannot be a model. Then you some of us just accept it like that. The truth is that it's a lie. You don't need the hourglass body to be a model. But the truth is that sometimes we accept lies about our lives. But we need to start thinking of our potentials. We need to start thinking, yes, I can. And then we need to start being positive, and then to start challenging our fears. A lot of people commit suicide. They end their lives because they think it's over. All my friends are married and I'm still single at 40. But the truth is that the God who made you has a plan for you. So we need to also have faith in God. We need to believe. I'll talk more about faith in a brief second. So we need to not give up on ourselves. We need to realize that there is a process to everything. Now, the beautiful clay pot, the beautiful vessel you saw out there, didn't just become a beautiful vessel overnight. It actually went through a process. So we need to start respecting our processes. Sometimes when we think all hope is lost, because we are at rock bottom, we need to realize that sometimes until we hit rock bottom and we are at the lowest moment, we will not be able to appreciate it when we start floating, when we go to the top, when we come to the top of the mountain. Because the truth is that when you've never been down, you might never be able to really fully appreciate what it means to be up there. But when you hit rock bottom, you realize there is no other place to go than up. When you are at the bottom, you realize you can no longer sing. This is the basest you can be. And then you realize that this is the darkest part of the night, and the next thing that is coming is the dawn. So we need to respect our processes. We need to understand that processes are always there. And then we need to understand these processes, accept these processes, walk through the process to improve ourselves and prepare for the top. I love to say we need to start learning our victory laugh, our victory dance when we are in the valley, when we are in the process. We need to learn how we would celebrate. We need to rehearse our celebration so that when it comes, we will not be unable to dance and rejoice because we have been preparing. It's just like, for example, your wedding day. You learn dance steps. If you don't learn those dance steps before your wedding, you will not be able to dance. If you don't start practicing it, you will not be able to do it. But when you start learning it, then you'll be able to practice it when that D-Day comes. Even if you don't have a boyfriend now, learn your dance steps. Even if you don't have the money now, start planning how you want to spend it. Start planning what are the things that you want to do when you achieve the things that you are set to achieve. When you start planning, the Bible says, as a man thinketh in his heart. So you start thinking, okay, so I would have 2 baby cots because I'm going to give birth to twins, and I'm going to place one there. And even when the doctors are telling you it's not possible, you can't get pregnant, it's not possible. But you know that I can do all things through Christ. God has said that I am a fruitful vine by the side of my husband's house, and my children are like olive plants surrounding my table. I am happy because my quiver is full of children. So I know. So I already am planning. This is where I'm going to put my baby's cot. This is how I'm going to. Then you start researching baby decorations. You don't have a boyfriend, but you start researching your wedding gown. This is what I want to wear on my wedding. This is how I want the hall to look like. And when you start thinking it starts becoming your reality. Somebody says you cannot sing, but you keep listening to good music. You keep practicing. You keep rehearsing. And then the day you step out to sing, that same person that said you could not sing would clap for you. Why? Because you've respected your process. You've put in effort. But if you are said, I cannot sing, and then you just move on like that, you will never be able to realize your true potential. We need to surround ourselves with positive people. When you identify that this person is a negative person, dissociate yourself from that person, break free, and move on. Because the person that does not believe in you would bring you down. The person that cannot lift you up will bring you down. We need to have faith. Yes, we need to have faith in God because we are not here by accident. The fact that you were that sperm that fertilized the egg, that sperm that fertilized the egg produced you is not a function of chance. It is a function of God planning for you to exist on planet Earth at this time and to live for His glory. So we need to identify our purpose and to live for it. We are not here by accident. There is nobody that is born by mistake. We are all here for a purpose. If you were a mistake, probably there would never have been a meeting between your father and your mother the day you were born. That sperm will not have fertilized that egg. So you are here because God has a purpose for you. We need to start having faith in God to believe that He has a good plan for us. The truth is that we need to surround ourselves with the right kind of information, the right kind of people, the right kind of music, the right kind of life. If you want to be a millionaire, you need to start thinking like a millionaire, because as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Today I want to leave you with this message, that you can achieve all that you ever wanted to achieve if only you believe that you can. If only you believe that God has created you here for a purpose and that God has a plan for you. I want you to know that you're not a mistake. You are here definitely for a purpose. And I want you to know that God loves you so much that He died for you on the cross. He gave His only begotten Son for your sake to redeem you to Himself. If He didn't have a purpose for you, He would not have made such a big sacrifice. And the truth is that He would not withhold anything good from you. So you need to start believing. You need to start believing. You need to start believing. You need to receive it and to prepare. You need to start seeing it. I want you to know you are loved. And yes, you can. And yes, you will. God bless you. Have a lovely, lovely week. Till we see again next week on Arrow's Diary. Have life good, pleasant, and beautiful. And remember, whatever the circumstance you're facing now, it is only a phase. It will come to pass. Thank you very much. And have a lovely week. Bye.